Now, the next question was in response to my question on Instagram. What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your spiritual life at the moment? And this person says, accepting my loathsome bits to salvage the remaining years at 58 and feel lost like I'll never get it, in inverted commas. I asked them to elaborate on it a bit more, and they did lots of things, which I'm not going to read out. But they basically, they're heading towards 58, and they are just in that horrible feeling of, I don't like my life. I don't like my life at all. There's so many things about my life that I don't like. There's some bits that I do, but most of it, I'm not really where I want to be. I'm not happy with so many things, and I'm 58. It's too late. My life is over, which is not the case. It doesn't matter what age you are. This is the thing about age, and particularly if if you're interested in the spiritual life, it's one of the best things to be interested in spiritual life for getting older, because with everything else, as you get older, it's like your world gets smaller. Your body starts to fall apart, and you can't do things that you wanted to do, or you're never going to be like your chances of winning a gold medal in the Olympics for gymnastics if you're 58. I mean, anything's possible, but it's not, it's a big, it's unlikely. The chances of you being in a boy band, no, that's probably not going to happen if you're 58. The chances of you being a child prodigy, that's not going to happen, and so on. But with the spiritual life, there's no end to it. You can keep going and keep going, and it doesn't matter what it is, But really, it doesn't so much matter that end of it. The main thing I think about getting older is to make sure not to get pulled into the conventions of, oh, this is what happens when you're a certain age. It's always new, Like there's the cliche of the older men who end up with younger women, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's disgusting." She's twice as, she could be his daughter, all that kind of thing. That's because the old men don't know they're old. Inside, they're like, "I'm still 18." They obviously don't have mirrors, and they don't have full length mirrors, because somewhere they're just going with their own subjective experience, and they think that they are the same age as the woman that they're with. They're still, because we are kind of eternal on the inside. I'm not making any excuses for men getting together with younger women, or young women getting together with younger men. Like, if everybody's happy, great. But I just saying, the reason that happens is because we are eternal on the inside. But you could use that to your advantage. And this idea of it's too late, there isn't a lot of things that it is too late for. Okay, boy band, medal in the gymnastics, and all that kind of thing. But people often nail themselves into their own coffin of age because, oh, well, I'm older now, and then this is, or I'm amazed the way people, they talk themselves into having things wrong with their body. They're like, oh, well, my knees are starting to go now, which is, I suppose, it's understandable. It's like, I don't subscribe to that at all. I don't think, I mean, I recognize changes in my body, but I don't kind of go, oh, well, it's 58 o'clock, which means my left knee is probably not going to work, or I'm going to start getting arthritis, or I'm going to start getting whatever. I don't think like that at all. And I strongly recommend you don't either, that everything is new. And in fact, I think that taking on bigger and bigger projects the older you get is the thing to do, because people often kind of, particularly because we've been conditioned, if you've been in a job, to kind of go, oh, I just want to get to the retirement age. And the number of people that die within the first year or two of retirement is staggeringly high, and it's to do with this feeling of, inertia, or well, what am I even doing here? What's the point? So there can be a feeling of like, oh, I'm just going to relax now. When I get older, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm not going to put myself under stress. I'm not going to put myself in, I'm not going to challenge myself. I'm just going to take it easy. I've worked very hard. I think that's the worst thing to do. I think the thing to do is to take on big, scary, hairy, audacious projects. Things that you think you probably won't be able to achieve, but do it anyway. Because then you're too busy to be noticing about getting old, you know. Even if you do work and retire at whatever 65 or whatever the latest age is that, I mean, I know they push it forward. Have something ready to go. Either have a new career where you can work forever in, like until you don't, there's no cutoff, like not a very physically demanding thing, um, and have big projects, remodel the house, move countries, do all the big things. That will um, bring a lot of vitality into your life. So it's never too late. This person's 58. To the 78-year-old person, they'll be going, God, that's nothing. I wish I was 58 again. There's always somebody, and we're all living longer as well. That's the other thing. We're all living longer. So 58 used to be like, wow, you're an old person. Now it's like, oh, well, you're kind of just a little bit after the middle kind of thing. So I wouldn't, and I don't for myself. Like I'm 60. I'll be 61 this year. I hardly ever think about it. I don't. I never think about it in terms of what I can or cannot do. That doesn't um, influence it at all. I'll just go ahead. Like I wrote all about going to Innsbruck. I thought I was going skiing. I was training for going skiing. I was doing all these things. When I got there, I didn't like it at all. And I think that was to do with getting older. But I'm not sure. I don't know for definite. I think it might have been that, or that I didn't have enough kind of support around me. I didn't have a group of people around me. I was very on my own with it. So I don't know what, but I certainly, I didn't. It wasn't inside me going, "Oh, I'm 60 now. I shouldn't be going skiing." I was like, "Great, let's go. Let's give it a go." And I got so much out of that trip. You can read all about it in my blog. I don't like calling it a blog, but it's all there. That whole, all the things. That was a big scary thing to take on to go to Innsbruck for a month, um, and but I gained so much out of it. It didn't work out exactly the way I thought it was going to go, but it was great to do. And I would have, if I had kind of went, oh well, I'm 60 now, I should probably just tuck myself up and my body this, and the sort of things that people say, I would have missed out on it all. Speaking of my blog, I send out friendly notes every Sunday. If you want to get a little friendly note from me, John at furtheremergence.com. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there. So yeah, it's very understandable. Like part of this feeling of like, oh my God, I'm this age, and is this it? Is this my life? That's kind of a spiritual awakening. That's kind of waking up, and that can happen at any age. You wake up one morning and everything's different. The person you're lying in bed beside, you're like, oh, what's happened? You look out the window and you're like, oh, this again, and you look at yourself, and that part of that is just your standard kind of spiritual awakening, and it can happen many times during your life, where everything was going great, and then suddenly it shifts, your perspective shifts, and everything just looks different. It's happened to me loads of times, and it's that thing of let go or be dragged, because it's going to happen one way or the other. And the difficult thing with this person is the feeling of inertia, but it's really an illusion in my experience. That feeling of inertia, like I can't change anything. Look, it's all going to be over. Even though I'm saying we're living longer or whatever, it's all going to be over a lot quicker than we think, and it's always going to be now. We're going to die now. It's like, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to live for another 50 years. Yeah, but in 50 years when you die, it'll be now. It'll just be in 50 years' time. But the moment will be this moment that you're in now. So, the main thing to aim for, I aim for, is to not look back with regret. To not look back and go, oh, if only I'd done that, if only I'd done the other. Thankfully, I have very few regrets. And they're mostly from when I was much younger and when I was a lot less conscious. And that's not like, oh, I'm so conscious now, but we all get more conscious as we get older. It's very hard to avoid it. It's part of the natural way things are. We just get more conscious. It's built in, and you get more conscious whether you're conscious of getting more conscious or not. It just happens. It's part of why people are called, they say, oh, people, what do the mellow, they get mellower as they get older. So yeah, I feel your pain. This person, they've written quite a bit about all the different parts of their life, and I can totally relate. But it's only over if you say it's over, and you're only, oh well, I'm 58. Yes, chronologically that is the case, but we live in a magical kind of illusion. It's a magical kind of thing, and it's amazing that we wake up into it every morning. Where do we go? Like, where do we go when we go to sleep? Where do we? What is this thing that we wake up into? What is this stuff I put in my mouth that I can't even see? And it tastes so good. I had this great sensation, explosion in my mouth. What is this stuff that comes in through my nose? All that's amazing stuff. So when you view it like that, the number, the 58 years, the whatever, the 20 years, it matters. It's part of the rules of the illusion, but it doesn't matter that much. So I hope that helps.